I'm a legend.
I'm a legend. I'm a legend.
Welcome back to the Busted Lip Podcast. I am Mark Pavelich, my favorite co-host of all time, the 8-time world WBC, WBA world boxing champion, and our special guest today, everybody, all the way from Los Angeles, California, doing his Sanford and Son best impression today, the one and only BB Hudson.
Yeah, what's going on? Hey, I just want to clear something up because they're gonna get mad at me. I gotta give due to my city of Pomona. You know what I'm saying? The home of the Pomona Steelers,
Of
Snoop Dogg
course.
League. Yeah, so yeah, that's actually, Los Angeles native, but out here in Pomona, born in, what I'm saying, we're raised in Pomona. So yeah, so just give a shout out to all my folks, man. Home was world champion Sugar Shane Mosley. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Oh, definitely, definitely.
yes.
So listen, BB, when we were putting this show together, we were so excited because Jelena and you are friends. And then she tells me yesterday, she says, Mark, I actually keep in touch with him. And I thought,
all the
I
time.
don't hear that very often from her. So when I heard her say, I keep in touch with him, that kind of freaked me out because she doesn't do that with many people. Like actually you have to be in a special group of people for her to say that. And I thought, wow, now I got excited.
Yeah, no,
BB
man.
is my strength and BB is my strength and conditioning trainer. Like he is, I'd say hands down one of the best in the business, if not the best sports performance specialist.
There you go.
And yeah, and he's also a very good friend of mine. So yes, we do keep in touch.
Yes,
In fact,
she actually called me. She just called me a couple days ago, like, "Hey, I want to come down and bring my nephews, bring my, you know what I'm saying, so we can do some training." But yeah, man, Jelena's the best. I mean, from the time we met all the way through, we kind of one and the same, and that's the scary part. You know what I'm saying? Because if you know Jelena, you know what I'm saying, how intense she is, and just the kind of person she is. If she loves you, she loves you. Boy, if she hates you, on the wrong side of the track. So yeah.
Correct.
People don't know that side of me, BB.
Yeah. BB, that's the best part of this podcast because everybody has saw the other side of Jelena, right? Because she does have the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde thing going on. And the crazy part is, like, we used to do this charity event in the city where we used to hike 50 kilometers in a night on freezing cold weather. It was called Everest in Edmonton. And Jelena's the only female that ever did it. Like she came in cold, man, and she rocked it. And that's just showing you her mind is very different than most.
Absolutely. I mean, so many stories with her, but the way she challenged the guys when we were training, and they get mad at Jelena because, like, she's my favorite, so we call her the teacher's pet because her effort and everything she does is just unmatched, man. And her heart and her will and her desire just to be great at everything she does. So yeah, so that's one thing we have
BB,
common.
where does yours come from though? Where does your drive for what you do come from? Because you say you grew up in LA, you're from LA and all that type of thing, but it had to come from somewhere different.
Man, it really came from, I would say, from my parents, my mother, growing up in the South in Texas. A lot of people don't know that, like, my dad was, he picked cotton, man, all the way to 1954. So he was a sharecropper. So he was a phenomenal athlete. So he had scholarships, man. He was actually Texas state champion in 1953, 54 in 100 meters. He ran
Jesus.
9.4, and he had scholarships to Texas A&M, Oklahoma, but he just didn't
Wow.
want to be there, and he left, man. He went to the Army, and he did his time in the Army, and he had kids. So I'm the youngest of nine, and that's where the BB comes from, baby brother, named after my dad. But
Oh, yeah.
that drive and that instilled within us, as far as from my parents, just, you know, always having to pick ourselves up by the bootstraps, man, and keep it going. So, When I had an opportunity to play, like my brother, all my family is really, really, really good in sports, and we were in sports high level. I had a brother that was All American in 1987, Super 11. I mean, the who's who was here. Oh my God, Notre Dame's coach, Lou. He was
Lou Holtz.
here. Lou Holtz
Yep.
was here. I mean,
Yep.
Robinson was here. Florida
Everybody.
State coach Bobby. I mean, everybody was here. So man, I mean, it's just one of those things that when you come from one of those types of families, the will to succeed and compete with each other. You know what I'm saying, and to make sure that we're all doing our best. You know what I'm saying, to make our parents proud.
Are all your brothers and sisters alive still, BB?
No, I have one sister that's passed away, but everybody else is still eight of us here, and then both of my parents are deceased. My mom
Fantastic.
passed away, 2 years ago at 90 years old. So she had a long fight, and it was a great life, man. You can't be mad when you make it to 90, even though it was sad.
I
But
totally
yeah,
agree.
yeah.
Yeah. Who's been the most difficult athlete you ever trained in your life, and who's been the easiest one to ever train in your life?
Uh, the
No,
most
please. This is the
Yeah,
Busted.
difficult.
say me.
Listen, BB. This is
You
the
hear what I'm
Busted
about to say?
podcast,
That's
man. This
why
is
I
like
laugh.
this is like
Say me.
this is like going to confession. You know what I mean? You got to go to confession on the Busted
Hey,
podcast. So we need you
I'm
to
not gonna
we need you to
lie.
kind of like correct.
Jelena is one of the most difficult, but because she gives her all, that's why she's so difficult because she doesn't know when to quit,
Different.
and then you have to back her
Yes.
off herself. You know what I'm saying? Probably the most joyful one I've ever had to train. Um, and I've trained you know what, Layla. So I did some work for Layla
Oh,
Ali, and she
okay.
was
Ben
just a
Ali. Yeah.
sponge. Yeah, Layla Ali was so joyful to train. She came to work every day, and you know what I'm saying, she was just always had this disposition. She was just always happy, and she just wanted to get the work in. As far as the men go, I would probably say it's probably the kid I'm training now, man, Malik Thomas. He's in a draft. He went to University of Virginia last year. He's a
We're
basketball
talking
player.
basketball now.
Okay,
Yeah,
Yep.
basketball. Good.
Yep.
so he's a basketball player. His name Malik Thomas. He's in a draft. Hopefully he gets drafted. He had like 7 or 8 workouts with all the good teams, the Clippers, the Wizards, all the teams. So we looking. I actually went and saw him yesterday, Father's Day. He wanted to see me, but yeah. So it's exciting times right now for him because the draft starts tomorrow. So we hoping that he gets drafted. Now he should, yeah. So he should get picked up, but the kids what keeps me in it, you know what I'm saying? And those are my lab rats. So that's what makes it joyful. So when you get these kids, man, and you can develop them, and not just develop them, man. I mean, it's like we've touched over my little training crew over like 6, 7,000 kids, man, within the last 20 years.
Wow.
And being able
Wow.
to
Wow.
go to college first time. We have a lot of first time graduates, and all of them hit me up yesterday. I had
Very
like
cool.
10 of my kids, and because they think I'm like their dad and their family, I'm part of their family. So that's what actually
Yeah, they felt the
outside
need
of
to
my
reach out to
parents.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the cool thing about it, man. Yeah.
I have to
Where do you
say, like,
go ahead? Go ahead,
one
Jay.
of the things with BB and the group is, and this was makes him a phenomenal trainer, is he goes above and beyond just like the role of a strength and conditioning trainer. Like, I've seen him, help mentor these younger guys. I call them kids because they're like 20 years old in
Yeah,
boxing
yeah.
and in sports, and they look to him for guidance about relationships, advice, like everything. And he goes above and beyond to get to know the athlete and know what makes them tick. And so that's what I think makes, adds to him already being an incredible trainer, is to like be able to mentor emotionally, mentally, and physically. So I'm not surprised because you spend so many hours training. I'm not surprised that all these kids reached out, and I hit B up and I was like, happy Father's Day, because he does have 2 kids that are beautiful, and I was, just he's just a very special trainer. So Just had to say that. That's why the kids
Well,
reach out, is because
well,
he's just an awesome guy.
BB, I saw that on your Instagram too. You have the icon of the brain on your Instagram.
Right.
So is that your terminology for that? This is the part that you work on as well.
That's the first part, because if you don't have that,
Correct.
you don't have anything else. And that's one of the reasons why I kind of separated myself. I don't call myself a strength and conditioning coach as much, because
Because it's more
when I
than that.
played,
Yeah.
yeah, because when I played football, we had strength and conditioning coach. I went to San Diego State, finished at Cal State Fullerton, and when that term comes to mind, my vision sees a guy that's just out there making you do a bunch of busy work, run, win sprints. You know what I'm saying? We go to the weight room, but it's really not anything that's actually going to help you to be able to perform at the level when it's time to perform. So, I coined the phrase athletic performance specialist for that reason. And like I say, the first thing we want to hit is the head first and then the heart. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't have those two together, I don't care what we do on the field or anything as far as training, you got to be able to have the cognitive part. And that's what separates the top tier from the low. And people don't realize how important that is.
Have you had people that you've trained, BB, where you go, this guy's so athletic and so crazy, but then this doesn't work correctly, and you see that right away, and you go, oh my God, I gotta flip the script on this cat. But then sometimes, guys, this doesn't click in no matter what you do. Like you can hit him over the head with a baseball bat, and this doesn't translate come game day onto the field. Have you had those type of athletes?
Absolutely, man. And I'm not going to drop any
Yeah.
names, but I have one phenomenal athlete, man.
You
This
don't have to.
guy,
Yeah. Yeah.
he was one of the guys I trained since he was like 13, 14, and then he got away from me and he came back. And a lot of the things I do, and Jelena knows, it's a lot of concept training. So it's not just mindless work. Everything has to click. So I remember talking to his dad right before because he ended up going to college and he ended up going to the Patriots. And I was just like, he doesn't understand concepts. But he was 6'4". He ran 4.31, and he was a
Jesus.
corner. Yeah, I mean, phenomenal. And his dad kind of got upset with me, but I was like, hey, I've been at that level. And he can't understand these concepts. Like, we have this warm up, and it's about 30 minutes. But if you can't remember the concepts of the warm up, more than likely, when it comes to understanding coverages or even if basketball, boxing, where you should be and all those different
Or the
things, you
playbook,
just,
the actual
yeah, you're
playbook.
just not
Yeah.
going to retain the
Yeah.
information. And that's the most
You just will
important
not.
thing about training is retaining. It's just like a teacher. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? How can you retain information? You know what I'm saying? That will help you further along when it's time for you to play. So that's the approach that I always
Well,
take.
BB, that's what we have here in Canada. When you see the difference between you have guys that come from the States that play in the CFL. The reason why they're great athletes. They played Division One. They played in the Rose Bowl. They did all these great things. They're all Americans. They can't learn the damn playbook in the NFL. So they come to the CFL to play football because they can't comprehend the level and the quickness of the playbook in the NFL. It's totally different levels, right? And
So
it's funny because you could be as athletic as you want, but if you can't understand the plays, defense
right.
or offense wise, you just can't last there. Like, and you'll be exposed very quickly.
Yeah, they got ways to expose you so fast. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
Correct.
it's just it
Correct.
happens, and it happens fast too. So yeah, you're absolutely right about that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I knew when we were going to have you on today, we were going to relate because, I trained 4 different guys that fought in the UFC. And those guys didn't come to me because I can teach them how to punch, kick, or knee or grapple better. They came to me because they were at the point in their career where they knew that they peaked at athletically and had nothing to do with athletic wise. And I would when I trained the 4 of them to go to the UFC, none of them should have been in the UFC. It's this that I had to go through with their brain. And mine was very, very different than most people do today. Like what I did back then is I'd probably be arrested today for doing it.
And you and I both, and I still do it. But I
Yeah.
have a disclaimer when I
Yeah. Yeah.
train. I tell them up front,
Yeah.
I may not be for
Cor-
you. You
correct.
know what I'm saying? Because what I'm going
Yes.
to demand from you mentally and the focus that we may not get along. And if you can't handle the pressure of every day of doing like what Bill Belichick says, the boring stuff. I'm very boring. I'm very
Yeah.
methodical, and that's a lot of
Yeah.
reason why I don't have a lot of IG stuff. Because even when I started out 20 years ago, I was ahead of the curve, and I just people don't want to watch me. They just come, oh man, he doesn't even look like he's doing anything. And Jelena will tell you, they'll come and they'll say, "What is he doing?" But getting the workout and do it, and 2 days later, they still can't walk. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's just
That's right.
very
I
methodical.
Yeah.
can that I
A
can
test.
attest to
A
all of
test. Yeah.
this. Absolutely.
BB, do you
But
notice that in professional sports though, that's happening now all the time? They're worried now about if the players get along with the coach. And I'm like, that's the last thing I want to do is you to like me. I don't give a shit if you like me or you don't like me, but you will respect me when it's all said and done. When your hand is raised in front of 40,000 or 20,000 people, you'll understand that then. And they've all said that to me after the fact. Now I've been out of the game for so long, they've all reached out to me after the fact going, "Oh, I know why now you did that. I got now why you did that. I understand why you did that." But now you see now in professional sports everywhere, it's like they're checking with the team if the better players are going to get along with the coach. And I go, you're wondering why you're not winning a Stanley Cup in hockey or you're winning a Super Bowl because you're worried about if the players are going to accept the coach. And I go,
Right.
that is the most bizarre thing I've ever heard in my entire life. You don't have to like him, but you definitely have to understand when he walks into the room what that means. And if you can't translate that, but when you're starting to ask your star players if they're okay with the coach, that's when you have a major problem on your hands.
Hey, absolutely, and that's been the trend, even with these new hires, with all these sports with the different coaches. Can they get along? Is there a now it's like the generational gaps. Oh, he's an older guy. He doesn't relate to these young guys. No,
I
it's
understand. Yeah.
still
Yeah.
it's still a respect factor. Like you have parents, and this is a lot what's going on just in general. And I don't even want to get started on that.
Totally.
Like there's no fear. There's no, what I'm saying, hey, coach needs to come in and be able to set the tone, set the temperature of the room, and you're supposed to follow. And when you follow, great things happen. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so
Correct.
yes, just so the temperature in
Watch,
sports
but
is
BB,
just
watch history. BB, watch history in any sport that you can imagine. You think people got along with Belichick? They
I know
didn't.
they
They
did.
didn't. Tom Brady to this day, talks about him with so much respect, but you can see there was something like he didn't like him, but he respected him and loves him, but he didn't
Hmm.
like him because he wasn't there to grease your nuts every 5 minutes. He wasn't there to tell you you're
Right.
the GOAT. He never, I guarantee the word GOAT never came out of his mouth one time
Never.
talking about Brady.
Never.
And then, but we all know that he is, but Belichick was different. But why was he so successful? And it worked right to the very end, basically,
It
because
did.
he didn't want to be your he's not your buddy. I'm not your friend. I'm not your pal. I'm not going to fucking
Man.
drink beer with you. I'm not going to do
Right.
any of that shit. Right. And I was like that with my fighters too. I never sat around and took pictures with them. I never told them, "Oh, you're the greatest. You're the great." None of that shit. Right. And they wonder why when they went to the UFC finally and they got there, they were all mad when they finally got there. They weren't like scared. They weren't anymore. There were that fear of like losing or all that other shit. None of that stuff was in their minds when they got there.
Right.
They were actually upset when they got there. They were mad at their opponent before they even got there, and their opponent didn't say one word.
Because you put them through all that shit. So they was like, I had to deal with
Yeah,
him.
it's like
Oh, absolutely. Hey,
yeah,
it's the
yeah,
same mindset. Look, Jelena, she knows because we fight. And she's like, hey, I need it this way that I'm not here. And we're friends. But when we're in camp, we're frenemies. And that's what we call ourselves because I'm
business.
like, hey, I
We,
need
we
to get
are
it done.
frenemies.
I need to get it done.
we are
And once it's all said and
and
we
done,
are
it's like,
frenemies indeed.
oh, B. Yeah,
yeah, but
because
But the
we,
BB, you know
difference
what?
is, no.
Yeah,
But the difference is that like the way that these kids in this generation are being raised is that they don't have that respect. They have that, oh, well, I'm just going to quit and I'm going to move
yeah,
on because somebody else will give me what I need. But that isn't the best for the athlete. And I've been there many times with BB training guys, and this is just boxing when he's training us boxers that have had guys quit and leave.
yeah.
And
Best
then
thing ever. Yeah, go.
eventually come back and
yeah,
I'm like, all right, peace, bye. I'm gonna just mosey on and do my work and like keep trying to stay out of the drama. But these guys like it's just that they've been so damn spoiled by everybody that when it comes to actual push comes to shove, where BB's not going to let up, where I've seen other trainers just submit and do whatever they want to do and take the shortcuts. And the shortcuts in sports get you absolutely nowhere.
Not in
Like
the real world. Not in the real world.
That's
did
BB's
you
just
hear?
called
warm up.
detours.
BB's warm up is a detours. Yeah, BB's warm up alone is a full ass workout. Like I'm telling you, like I'm taking my little brother down because he's in Olympic bobsled, right? Going to be eventually. He's in the cusp. And no one has taught him how to break down any of the motions, any of like from running to jumping to like foot placement
Crazy.
to
Yeah.
anything. It's unbelievable how these kids, natural athletes, are not taught how to even run. Like
Correct.
they don't run anymore.
Yeah.
And so I'm taking him down and I was like, hey man, like you better be in shape by the time we get down there. Like, so don't skip any workouts, don't skip any runs. Like BB is going to crush you. It's not like, oh, I'll go in for 3 days, get a couple workouts and show him. I'm like, we be prepared to be mentally broken and then physically broken after it.
No,
I
but don't
said-
you want a guy? Don't you? I love what you just said there, though, Jay, at the beginning, because as you said at the beginning, BB, you said there's guys that kind of resent Jelena, right? Because how she does certain things.
Yes.
And those are the guys that I pick. And you know what? You know what's funny about what you said about that is those are the soft guys to me, because those are you can't be any softer. I would rather cut my tongue out. I would rather cut my tongue out than say that out loud ever anywhere, whether it's a woman or a man, or I don't give a shit who it is, that I would acknowledge that you're above me in any way. And once you start sharing that if you start doing that, that's when you become weak and you start to disintegrate, right? And it's funny because when we did the hike with Jelena, 50 kilometers in the freezing cold, I was looking over at her because I was thinking, there's no way, like she's gonna like. Then I thought, no, she is gonna make it, right? And then at the end, she looked over at me and she goes, "Mark, this was great, but I'm never fucking doing this again." Like,
Right.
she's like
walking
yeah.
for that long. I started
Hiking,
jogging
yeah.
at one point, BB.
Yeah.
I was like a little jog in my step, and I was like thinking back to our warm-ups and stuff, and I was like, yeah, I just got to hit my foot at the right spot at the right angle, and then it won't hurt as much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
she's
that's
a
what I'm
warrior.
trying to
There's
tell
no
you.
way.
Any man,
I would have fucking crawled rather
of
than
course,
quit. There
and
is
that's what I'm
absolutely
talking
That's
about,
what it
Jay.
is.
That's what I'm
But-
talking. That's what I'm talking about. See, you're not just talking about it; you actually do it. So you see, there's people that sit around all the time, and they're sitting around the fucking fire, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I would do this, and I would do." No, you wouldn't. No, you.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Out of all the people that did the hike with us, you're the only one that didn't complain one time, didn't say shit one time, not the entire time. Other people that came with us, it was like we were basically carrying them across the finish line. You know what I mean? And you were different. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's the mentality that is missing in today's generation that go, hey, about winning. And it's like winning is so painful. You understand? Like winning to be successful. Ask the great Jordans and all the other people in the world how painful it was for them to get to where they got to. They're not going to tell you, oh yeah, I slept 10 hours every night and it was great. No, it was painful. Very painful.
And that's one of the things that actually helps me separate. I like I said, I had a cup of coffee with the NFL. But to get there, it hurt so bad. You know what I'm saying? It hurt so bad for me to do the things. I ran 4.2. I did all the good things, but to get there, it hurt so bad. So when I'm training these guys, that's the first thing I tell them. I was like, you got to be a pain junkie. I mean, just like you just said, when you look at Shaquille O'Neal's feet and they curled up under, you look at all these guys and all the pain that they went through for them to be that great. With Kobe, they talk about said you have to be a pain junkie if you're going to be great. The great ones has a level of being able to deal with pain like no other, and that's why they are so great. So it's
But
mind
BB,
over
don't you
matter
think
at some
it's
point.
not just pain? Don't you think it's not just pain? It's the act of pointing out the obvious. Like if you're in pain and I watch the athlete that doesn't say anything about being in pain, that's the guy I want. I don't give a shit
Right.
how much talent he has.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's the person I don't want to hear that your hand hurts. I don't want to hear that your ankle hurts. I
Right.
don't want to hear, like, you understand, like, these are things that I know hurt and you know they hurt, but announcing them out loud doesn't fix your problem. It
Yeah.
just diminishes who you are. And it's like, yes. And I can realize, I can watch any athlete and know, oh, there's something wrong with the side of their leg or there's something,
Right.
but they're still here doing this. Right. And
Absolutely.
that's it. But when you start announcing it all the time, that becomes a weakness. And it's like, you just use that as your weakness, like a thing for you. And I never understood that about high level athletes.
Yeah, because they can't push through. They can't push past that point. So that point is a reference for them when they get there. Oh, that hurt too bad. So now I'm gonna find a way to pull back, and that's why I say the great ones don't find a way to pull back. They find a way to push through that pain until that pain becomes numb. You know what I'm saying? Then they're gonna find another way to push through that level. You know what I'm saying? So the ones they'll get, and Jelena knows she's been in camp. They'll get to that point, and then they're like, "Ah, that might be enough. I can't handle it anymore." But then you want to be great. So, this is good enough. And a lot of people, like you say, the enemy of greatness is being good. This is good enough. So yeah, absolutely.
Can you remind me which team, or tell Mark which team you played for in the NFL? You played with,
So I had
when did you get
a
drafted?
couple stints with the San Francisco 49ers, 1994, free
Nice.
agent.
49.
Nice.
I got released. They brought me up and released me like 7, 8 times, man. You know what I'm saying? They liked me. Um, of course I liked them, but it was just, I don't know, right fit. So after that, I was coming to Canada. So I actually went to the Rough Riders. What is that? Ottawa back in the day.
Ottawa, yeah.
Saskatchewan.
Yeah, yeah,
Ottawa
so
too.
yeah,
Ottawa was too, though, at one point, Jay. They were
Oh,
yeah,
both.
okay.
It was Saskatchewan and Ottawa were both Rough Riders.
Come
yeah.
on.
So that's
I
how
Yeah.
old
didn't
I
know
am.
that.
So I went
Okay.
up there,
Wow. Wow.
and I really didn't. I went up there, and I was like, "Oh man, I went played D1, and back in those days, you had to bring your own equipment, you had to pack your own bag. It was like, you
Yeah.
had to
Yeah.
bring all your stuff." I got up there about 2 weeks. I said, "Nah, this ain't for me." So I went back home, rededicated myself, trained, and then I had a stint with the Minnesota Vikings, and that was the year I want to say they drafted Randy Moss. So I ended up getting
Wow.
signed in the spring, and before I could go to camp, I got released. And it was one of those things where they had an injury with a veteran player, and they wanted to bring in another veteran. They wanted to bring in a veteran cornerback and veteran safety. So it was like 3 of the rookies that they thought that they were going to keep. And Denny Green was that's the coach at the time, was Dennis Green. Rest in peace. But he was
Oh,
real
wow.
cool. My agent
Yeah.
called
Yeah.
me, and he was just like, well, they're not going to bring you to camp. So at that point, I was like, okay, I'm done. That was, I want to say, like 1998. So at that
Yeah.
point, I said, I'm done.
NFL is
I
still the
came
same
home.
way, BB. Don't you think, though? NFL is the same way still to this day. It's like
Yeah,
there's not very many spots available
none.
for people that come from the outside
Yeah,
because they already have this brick wall that they've already set up, and they only have to replace a few pieces of bricks. You know what I mean? It's not the whole thing. It's like
no,
you know that this guy's going to start as quarterback, this guy's going to be the end, this guy's going to be the tail.
right,
You know all this already. You just watch football for the last 30 years. It's all been the
right.
same. But then you replace certain spots. That's it. Very few
Yeah,
spots are open.
yeah, very few. Oh, that's why it's less than what 1.5% that actually make it
Hmm.
in professional sports. Period. You know what I'm saying?
Period. I think baseball. I
Yeah,
think baseball is even harder. I think
yeah.
Major League
Baseball is
Baseball is
harder.
even harder to get into.
Yeah, because the
Harder.
longevity
Yeah,
of the game. You know what I'm saying?
that's
Yeah, so
right.
those guys play 15 years. They play forever. So it's even harder.
And you got
So
you got a guy that plays first base for the 25 years. You know what I mean? That's like
yeah,
you play first base, you play first base for 20 years. You're a first baseman, you played college baseball, and you were the best guy in college baseball, but every team's got look at the teams, the guys playing first base for 15 years minimum, right?
yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, but I like the baseball setup with the farm leagues and the different things. It gives kids hope and opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And I like what's going on now with these guys getting paid. Now, don't get me wrong, because my scholarship check was $600 when I when I played in college. So I'm so happy
Yeah,
for, you know what I'm saying, just the increase in revenue share, because
it's
it's still no
crazy. Yeah,
different. You know what I'm saying? The structure I would like it to be a little bit better so everybody can get at least a minimum across the board, and then those that get the the deals that's with the commercials and stuff. Of course, they get to make money, but everybody doesn't get to make money like those top
you,
guys
you
with
know
the
what's crazy,
NIL deal.
BB? And can you know all the Canadians that go over there to the United States to get the scholarships? They can't
Mhm.
get the NIL. They cannot receive the NIL deal money. They cannot get
Really?
it.
Why
Yeah,
is that? Is
yeah.
some
It's
rule?
It's
I don't know. Just because because they're
government.
apparently they're taking money from like that could be an American player or whatever female male whatever it may be, but there's some kids at my
That's
golf course
crazy.
that play Division 1 golf in the States at the best universities, and they cannot receive. They get the free scholarship and they get all the cool stuff, but they do not get the NIL money. They cannot get it.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
sucks.
yeah,
I mean, because
yeah,
you're over here,
yeah. But
so yeah.
they get an education. Most Canadians go, well, at least we get a really cool education for free, right? And that's
Yeah,
they
but it
they
ain't
look
for
at it that
free.
way.
It ain't for free, because when you get done
Yes,
playing,
that's
you have CTE like me with ended up with 9 concussions and all the different. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
yes,
not for free. Yeah, that's why I said they
yes.
say,
It's
"Oh, you
not.
guys get a free education." Yeah, but what about all the bodies and all the things that's hurt after we've put in all that work for those 4 years? You know what I'm saying? That's not free.
I
I
agree.
have people
I,
suffering.
I agree.
You know. Yeah, no, I'm so happy for. I mean, I wish that they could get money, but yeah, I'm real passionate about these kids, man. You know, saying at least up in their income and being, because I mean, come on, the college game right now, they're making so much money. They have to share the wealth.
Well, don't forget
Isn't it
they're making so
insane?
much. They're
It's
making so much
insane.
money in the past. Even like this is
Oh
just
yeah, when I
don't
was
forget the
there,
NIL deals. Yeah, crazy, crazy.
yeah, and I played in the '90s, and they were making,
Yes,
I'm saying the Rose Bowl was getting 15, $20 million back then. There was no revenue
back then.
sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, back then. So yeah, hey, we used
Don't
to have
forget the
money
big house in
games.
Michigan.
Yeah,
The big house in
yes,
Michigan holds 100,000 people. Do the math,
yes,
okay?
yeah,
So let's say the ticket price is $30. Let's I don't care what you want to call it, $50,
yeah,
$20. What do the math? There's
right.
100,000 people at every game.
And there's 8
And
Never
games a
still,
year.
mind sponsorship,
yeah, TV
endorsements, and
deals,
Yeah,
TV deals, the rest of it.
all
Yeah,
the
it's
things.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
then they should be arrested.
Hmm.
The NCAA should be arrested, like for the criminal negligence and the criminality behind that whole organization
yeah,
for back in the Bo Schembechler ages and back
yes,
in all those people, Bear Bryant and all those guys. That's that whole era from that there to your era to now. They should be arrested for
yes.
criminal,
And then,
criminal.
they came out and they gave out money, and they backdated it to, like, I want to say to 2008 or 7. I'm like, well, how do you stop at
I think, yeah.
2008? You know what I'm saying? It's
Where did
like,
they get that
I mean,
number? Yeah,
because
where'd
I'm
they get
looking
that
at it like,
number?
what about when we played? How do you say, okay,
You're
we're going to
correct.
give this amount of money and we're going to stop here? So I never understood that. I mean, we got
BB, you know what's
together.
crazy? You're right, because my dad is retired from the NHL. He's 93 years old. He makes
Wow.
more money now because they backdated it to his era. And they
Right.
backdated it. He says, I make more money now. He says he makes double what he used to make, what he gets every month from the NHL to today. He says, I don't even I can't even spend that kind of money, he said. But he got that. You imagine the NHL went back to that era.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what. Hey,
And
and
they
that's
should
right.
have did the same in football. Yeah,
Yeah, they should have. They should have. But oh
100%.
well, that's the NCAA.
Yeah, criminals to be
Yeah.
arrested. A whole lot of them taken away in handcuffs. All of them. All them and FIFA, the FIFA guys that run
Oh,
FIFA.
FIFA.
It's like criminals. They should all be arrested. Yeah, it's right in your front of your face. You see it all the time, but it just keeps going. And finally, the NCAA, they had to be forced to do these NIL deals, and it's
Yes.
like, now you got kids
Well,
coming
they're
out of
still
college.
but they're still kicking back on the NIL. Like they're still
Yes.
trying to. Wasn't it last year, B? There was a big lawsuit or something about it, trying to get rid of the NIL.
Yeah, they're
Like,
trying to restrict how
maybe.
much money the kids can make and trying to
Of
restructure
course they
it
are.
to
Yeah.
where,
Yeah.
so,
Because
but the whole thing is
you're
you
right,
can't
Mark.
restrict it.
These kids are coming out of college like millionaires, which is amazing.
Lots of them, Jay. Jay, are you kidding me? These kids go to the NFL now. They're like, I'm making less money in the NFL my first year than I did in college.
And
It's
that's why they're
crazy.
staying in college a little bit longer, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
You know
why
what I'm
not?
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. All the girls basketball,
UBBMOC on. Yeah.
they're staying in college, man. Yeah,
Women's
and that's
sports
good.
specifically too,
Yeah, I
which
agree.
is great.
Stay in
Yeah.
school as
Yeah.
long as possible, kids.
Yeah.
You'll never regret that time of your life.
You never regret it. That's
Never.
the best time of your life.
Yeah. Yes, correct. When it gets real, it becomes different. I don't care what
Yes.
anybody tells you. Very few guys can tell you this. When they get into, we've had guys on from the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball on this podcast. And once you cross over from college into the pro world, the mindset and everything is very different now. It's not just playing the game anymore. It's a business, and it's related as a business, probably first and foremost, than it is actually just going out there playing.
Right.
Yeah, but I think that's happening now with this NIL money. I think
You're
that's
right, Jay.
happening now in college, right?
Yes.
Like it's no longer just playing for the love of the game and because you're great
that
at
doesn't
it.
exist
Now
anymore.
it's now a business. So like now you're going back to like high school where you're like that's where you play for fun. Right?
Yeah.
Not
And even
anymore.
then these
It's
kids are
NIL deals
being
in high
groomed.
school right now.
So and then these kids are
kids
being
out here in
groomed.
California, NIL deals in high school, 10th, 11th grade. Yeah.
You better be careful there, because you start making more money than your teacher, that's going to become a problem.
Definitely. And we don't, our teachers, man, I feel so bad for them. They don't get paid anything with everything they have to deal with. So it's tough.
I totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree with that one too as well.
My brother's been a teacher 30 years, man. So, he's put his work in. Yeah. So he's ready to retire, but he's a good guy, man. So
being a teacher today is different though, because in our era, you remember when you were in school, I'd be sitting in school, and the guy that talked out, they'd throw a book at you, smoke you across the head with it. They'd give you a backhand in high school, right?
Yeah.
Now the teachers need to be shielded by kids that tell them to go F themselves and deal with that kind of stuff. And it's just another world out there now. I couldn't even understand. I golf with one of the guys that's at our golf course. He's a teacher, and he tells me these stories about how some of the kids talk to him. And I'm like, I don't even know how you could stomach that. Like, you know what I mean? Like how they talk to you now, because they believe
tough.
And it's that, yeah.
It's tough.
But I think it goes
I'm
back
actually
to
doing, I'm actually doing some contract work right now with a company called Student Nest. So I'm the director of a PE program for community day schools. So I came home, one of my buddies, he's high in the government. He was like, hey, we're going to try to do this PE program. So I said, okay, I'll be boots on the ground. So I'm out in the schools and I'm dealing with these kids, and they're like, F you, we're not doing nothing. And I can't even make them do anything. And they're just like, and I'm looking around, so I'm talking to the other teachers, and I'm like, the language. And so I'm a little different because, like I said, hey, I don't need this job. So if you're going to be with me for the 3-4 hours you're going to respect me. So but after 2 weeks being in, the principal, the teachers all came to me like, hey, man, like, what are you doing? I said, first of all, I don't need this job, and these kids need to be respectful. But it turned their whole school around. And he was like, at the end of the school year, the principal comes to me, and he's like, this is the first year in 5 years we haven't had an incident, a fight, a breakout, or any. I said, because it's camaraderie, it's sports. I said, you got to come in here and command and make these kids do. They will respect you, just like you're saying, if you make them respect you. But if you're afraid of them, because they have all the rights, but I necessarily don't have to deal with those
Correct.
rights because my career is
But
not
BB, you
always
see what you
tied to
did?
my
See what
teaching
you,
career.
but
So
BB,
yeah,
do you see what you did? That's what
yeah,
people don't understand what you just did. You created a culture. And I use the word
right,
culture because people
yes,
don't understand that. I don't care if you're in the NFL, NHL, Major League Baseball. You always hear at the end of the year all the time, it was our culture. They didn't talk about how great that guy skated or that guy threw the football. They talk about
right,
culture. And what you did at that school was you created a culture. And what happens now is that is generational. Once that culture's in place and you have people
absolutely.
to keep doing that and over and over again, year after year, that becomes the norm. But until
Hmm.
you create a culture, I don't give a shit who's on your team, what school you go to. If there's no culture going through the whole DNA of that school or that team, you're good for shit. We have the
Right.
two best we have the two best hockey players in the NHL in our city of Edmonton, and they haven't won the Stanley Cup. BB,
BB,
you tell
so
me if
just
you
so you know,
yeah.
BB came. We went to 2 years
Y'all might
ago
want to smoke my
or
cigar on the
3 years ago
podcast.
now. No, go on. So we went. It was my birthday. It was Game 7. We were
Oh, wow.
in Florida. We went to the game, and
In Florida.
obviously in
Yeah,
Florida.
yeah, we went to the game, the
Um,
Stanley Cup.
'Cause that's
We had a great
we,
time. Great time. Jelena spoils me. You know what I'm saying? Just to put that out there. She's
so
like one of my besties. So yeah, she take care of me.
That's awesome.
so we went. It was my birthday. We went down to go to the game. Because that's where we train is in Florida, and so I was like, I was closing my gym, all the things. I'm like, fuck it, let's go down. We're gonna go to the game. Go to Game 7. Oilers are gonna win. Blah blah blah. BB had his Oilers hat on. He was wearing his orange, even though he is
I
a
did.
Kings.
I did.
He did for me. So even though he is a Kings,
Oh man.
he loves
Yeah, he's from
he's
LA.
LA through and through. So, but I made him wear it. He did it for me, and then we
I
lost, and it
did.
was so
But
disappointing.
BB, more importantly, can you imagine having the two best players in the NHL and you still haven't won the Stanley Cup? Why
Yeah.
is that? No, you could they keep replacing the coach. They replace another coach. They replace another coach. Now they want to bring back this coach that hasn't coached in 10 years and he's dog shit. And now
Mm,
they want to keep doing this, but they don't understand. The only thing you need is culture. There has to be a
right.
culture through and there's not one here. If you ever seen the Edmonton Oilers, sometimes they'll be out like eating in a restaurant and you'll see two guys sitting in the corner over there that play for the team. And then you'll see guys that play on the fourth line sitting somewhere else. When the hell did you ever see any in the history of anything, if you're out with your teammates, that you're not all eating together? Does that
Right.
ever happen to a team that has a culture? No, the Edmonton Oilers, certain guys fly privately sometimes they don't. Some guys fly on the team jet. Sometimes you get what I'm saying here, right?
Yeah.
So I don't care care how great McDavid is or Draisaitl is until they're eating dinner with the guys on the fourth line and having them over their house to play ping pong. This shit's
Right.
never going to work.
Yeah.
Never. I don't care. You'd be the first in history to ever do it because you asked Tom Brady, you asked Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan in the documentary cried
Yeah,
at
Mike. See?
one point in the. If you remember when he cried, and I watched it, he cried in the documentary one time when he said that he did everything in his power to try to get his teammates to play like him. And they couldn't do it. They couldn't understand the sacrifice. He used the word sacrifice. They couldn't understand it. And that's the only time during the whole document. His dad died in the documentary. He didn't cry.
Right.
He was crying when he couldn't get his teammates to level up on the same mentality as him. That's how much it bothered him as being
Yeah.
the greatest basketball player to ever touch the ball. He was distraught and crying because
Yeah.
they wouldn't get to his level.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. And that's I mean, the greatest players are the worst coaches because of that. You know what I'm saying?
Every
It,
time. Yeah.
every time because nobody. It's tough to have that drive. It's tough. It's tough to have that
Mm-hmm.
mentality and then to expect because everybody's playing for a different reason. Some people just play for money. Hey,
Correct.
I got my money
That's
and
right.
I'm good. Some people play for girls or play for status or play for clicks and likes. It just depends. But yeah, with Mike, and bad as I hate New York Knicks. You know what I'm saying? But they came together this
I,
year. You know what I'm saying?
they
And
did. They
and I
did.
like Mike Brown. I mean, I like the players, the New Yorkers, and just the
The fans are
vibrato.
the worst. The
And
fans are the
I'm
worst.
a LA, and I was happy for them. I didn't want to see them because I love Wemby. Wemby's like my new favorite player, but
Yes,
he's gonna have
totally.
his shots. But I was happy for them. You know what I'm saying? Because of how they, like you said, they built that culture and they came together. And finally, Dolan got out of the way and he hired Worldwide
Correct.
West and he hired, yeah, you know
Correct.
what I'm saying, to build a culture so where these players could get on. And then they went and got the Villanova guys who already had a culture. You know what I'm saying? So that'll never
Crazy.
be mimicked
Yeah.
again. But I was just so happy just to see them come together. And now people are talking about, okay, so this is how the new NBA should be, or this is how we build teams. And it gives, like I say, my kid an opportunity to get in there and be able to be a part of something. You know what I'm saying? Because long gone should be of the days of, like you're saying, all the selfishness, all the me, all the different things that are going on, and let's build a team. You know what I'm saying? Let's build.
BB, but
That's what's wrong
look
with
at
my
the
Lakers.
look. Of course, the Lakers have now become that. Now they've become the pay me now. I want to hang out,
Yeah,
and we don't really care if we go far, and we're okay with just playing some basketball, and
yeah,
that's it. And it looks like that when in Canada. We're in Canada, and I'm watching it on television, and that's exactly what it looks like. It's like they're scared to get their dick knocked in the dirt now. It's like, remember back in the day, listen, I had the luxury one time to play at the Malibu Country Club with James Worthy. Okay,
oh,
write this down. So I'm
yeah.
playing golf, and they said, Mr. Pavelich, you're going to play golf with do you mind playing with this threesome? And I said, oh shit, I'm going to play with guys that don't know how to golf. This is going to suck. And they go, James Worthy, who else was it? Byron, your
Scott,
guy from
you Byron Scott.
Byron Scott,
Yeah,
yeah, and someone else. And I was like, sign me up. I played 18 holes with those guys in Malibu, California, with my wife was driving the cart for me, and I was playing with them. But that was the generation that dove out into the crowd, into the fourth row. You know what I mean? For the ball,
yeah,
they would
yeah,
they would go
yes,
do that, right?
yes.
And then you wonder why they won, and then you go, listen, nothing's been reinvented, as you know, BB, in
No,
the world of sport. Nothing. Okay, the golf ball's a little bit faster. The bases are a little wider now. The bullshit like that. I'm talking about the game of winning has never changed. Never.
absolutely, and that's the same approach. And Jelena tell you when we talk about training, I'm like, and I'll go back to to my shows. I'm just people don't. I'm basic, and we just do the basic things. It's just like having a good watch on, or the watches. They're the basic watches. They keep time, and that's one of the things. Like I'm a big Bill Belichick fan. I'm a big Nick Saban fan for that reason,
Love
and
Nick
those are
Saban.
the
Yep.
winningest coaches because everything's boring. Everything is just tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Come in. Hey, we have a system, and if you don't get in the system, I don't care how good you are. You got to get out the system because I need system players. I need you to be the teeth on this wheel over here, and as it clicks with that one, and it's boring, but boring is successful. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's just what it is. And so the body is the body,
Well,
the movement are the
we've
movements.
Do you, do you know that? Do you know, just for a side note, that Nick Saban and Belichick are both Croatian, Jelena?
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know
Like
that.
me. Yeah. Oh
Oh,
no. Go
okay.
please. Everybody watching the show, go Google that after. Belichick
Nobody
and Saban
cares,
are both.
Mark.
Listen,
Nobody
come on.
cares.
I'm
I care.
Croatian. They're Croatian. There's
I
kind of a
care.
weird thing going on there.
And I'm
Yes.
gonna tell you
Yes.
why I
Yes.
care. I'm gonna tell you why I care. And just to get on his
Tell us.
note, Jelena, because I had a kid. Um, he was on the spectrum, right? So I'm training him at my gym, and his mom comes in the gym, and she's driving up the street, and she says, "I heard your voice." So she drives in the gym and
Wow.
she said, I need you to train my son. So I was like, okay, we'll bring him in tomorrow. She said, no, I'm gonna go pick him up and bring him back. But he wasn't an athlete. She was just wanted him to train so he could be able to pass the fitness exams for him to get into a regular school. So he was going to a private school. So when he came in, yeah. When he came in, his name is Petard, man. This is one of my favorite kids. He came in, he was maybe like 6'2", 130 pounds. Looked like he's never been outside before or anything. He
Yeah, yeah.
mastered the program to the point to where I had him bringing him to train with the high level athletes so they can just train with him. So I actually really like changed his life. His dad wrote me this letter and about how he like became, I don't want to say normal because none of us normal, but they were just he ended up going to college. He ended up going to Baylor, man. And he was a kid that was on the spectrum, and he ended up running track. I think he ended up almost going to state with the CIF, and none of this stuff
Crazy.
was on the platform. But because of how he just locked in and man, and he appreciated everything. So yeah, that's one of my stories of having one of those. Yeah, so I love him.
That's
Croatians.
fantastic.
That's
Oh, he was and he was Croatian
Yes,
too.
yes.
Oh, baby, don't leave that out. Don't leave
Yeah,
that out.
yeah. He was Croatian, and that's why I said I need to tell that
Yeah.
story because he was Croatian. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, but Belichick and Saban are, and it's funny because when you're Croatian, there's not very many of us. There's only like 3.5 million in the world, so they basically go, "Oh, when someone is, you know they are."
Yeah.
Yeah.
we were
Anyway,
talking about.
BB, Jelena's Serbian, right? So she's the other
Oh
side.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know he knows. Anyway, what we were talking about was the foundation and the basics, and it being boring, but it being like the foundation of everything you do. And Mark, we've talked about this about, even with combative sports, MMA, boxing, where we just train the basics every day. It isn't the 18 punch combinations on the
Yeah,
mitts and the fancy shit and
yeah.
whatever. It's always the basics. And one thing I think, being my age, turning 44 Wednesday, you know, one of the
This
things
Wednesday.
that
Whoa.
makes this
This Wednesday.
Wednesday,
This Wednesday.
but one of the things that aids me in being able to still do what I'm doing is the foundation and the basics that BB instills in our program, right? And because I do the basics every day with them, and I don't cut corners and I don't take detours, that's the reason why I can out hustle some of these kids in the gym, is because my foundation is stronger than everybody else's. And then obviously my mindset is a little bit stronger than the kids, because I grew up, school of hard knocks kind of thing. There was
A lot more, Jay. A lot more. A lot more.
nobody supported me, so I had to support myself, right? So, but BB says boring, but I find it actually the most, like, I
Only
used to
certain
hate.
people will. Only certain individuals will find it. What you're about to say. Only a very small amount of people will say
So I,
that.
I used to hate the warm-ups. Like, our warm-ups are like, they're grueling, they're hard. It's gets everything firing, and I used to hate it. And now it's like I'm like more interested in the warm-ups than I am in the actual workout. The workouts are fun. I enjoy every day in the gym. Mostly because I enjoy embarrassing anyone I'm training with, even though I might not be the fastest, but
There's the
I'm gonna
difference.
do it.
There's the
I'm
difference
gonna
right
do it
there.
properly,
Boom.
right?
Yeah.
But
Yep.
BB, I heard you say a couple times, like, it's boring. Like, to me, it's not. To me, it's perfecting it a little bit more every single day and trying to
Small
be
group.
a better version of me every single day in the gym. And some days aren't great. You've been there. I've had some pretty shitty days in the gym.
Mhm.
But we did one thing one day that made us 1% better. And I keep going back to this 1%
I
because
love it.
that is the foundation of everything. If you can become 1% better every day, then eventually you're going to get to that 70-80%, and then that 100 is going to go up to be like, okay, now I'm at 50, now can I reach a little higher? And then that's that mindset mentality that you, BB, and sometimes Sugar also instill in trying to improve every single day, one skill at a time, one thing at a time. So I had to stop you and be like, it's not boring because it's correct and it's the proper way to do things, and there's no detours in being successful. So
Yeah, but everybody wants that shiny new toy. You know, that
Yes,
everybody wants
that's
that
right.
shiny. Oh,
That's
this
right.
gonna make you this if you get on this, if you do this, and everybody
That's
wants
right.
that shiny new toy. And there's no such thing like all these new apparatuses. And like I tell Jelena, we just got to hit the iron. The old way we do it, the pig iron, the barbells, you know what I'm saying, all the stuff
Correct.
that we grew up on is that still is the basis of it. So all this extra
100%.
stuff and all these other
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
I'm looking at them, I'm like, well, how does that fit? And where does it fit? And what are you accomplishing with it? But it's something shiny and people like it and it's exciting. And oh, I'll get a click on that. Oh, because ooh, look what you know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, like my buddy told me, anybody can make anything look good for 15 seconds. And that's what basically all the clicks and views are. You know what I'm saying? So
That's right. 15
so
seconds.
I guess does that make it? I guess that makes me boring too, baby. Shit.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
Jay. That Jay. That makes you no, Jay. That makes you 8-time world WBC WBA
Absolutely.
boxing world
Absolutely.
champion. That's what
Mhm.
it makes you. So let's not joke about that for 1 second on this show because that's what it
Right.
makes you, and that's the
Absolutely.
difference.
Yeah,
That's
and
why
that's
you
why
don't
she's
find it
still
boring.
competing. That's why she's still competing
Correct.
at this
Correct.
level. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say her age because she's phenomenal, but that's why she's still competing because
Correct.
she understands that as well. And most people don't understand the foundation. And like I tell a story about the skyscrapers. In order, the higher you go, the deeper you got to go in the ground for the foundation. And when people do all this
Yeah.
surface training, and that's what I call it, surface training, you don't ever build a foundation to be able to go to the 30th or the 50th or the 100th floor because it's just not there. You got to go down, like you said,
Correct.
get broken down mentally,
Yep.
physically, and we're going to
Yes.
still break you
Yes.
down. And so we can build
Yes.
upon that. So yeah. So that's my champion. I call her. Everybody, I was like, Jalena's my champion because she roots for me. Man,
Yes.
she tried. You know, what I'm saying she. I'm just saying, man, and yeah, she worked. Hey, she roots for me like nothing else, man. That's probably why I'm here today. You know what I'm saying? Because she is one person that champions for me, and I appreciate her and I love her for it.
It's fantastic.
Yeah,
That is so
and that's why we're friends.
Yeah,
See?
fantastic.
Yeah.
it is true.
Where-
It is.
How much longer do you do this for, BB? How long? How much longer?
The training, man. And it's funny because I say the word training, and I've been talking to a lot of these parents and a lot of these other because now I'm moving into a different arena with the younger kids. So I tell them to be careful who you let train your kid because, like she said, it's not just
I
training
agree.
that you're feeling, it's mentally, it's physically. So a lot of these people are hustling. You know what I'm saying? Like when I
Yes.
started out, even when I got into boxing, it was maybe one or two people doing what I was doing. And one of them was the great
Now
Mackie
there's tons.
Shieldstone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mackie Shieldstone, I actually went and spent uh 8 weeks in New Orleans with Mackie. When he was they took one of the fighters I was training, they was like, you're not good enough to train him. We're gonna take him to Mackie. So they was like, we'll let you ride along. But when I get there, I'm sitting with Mackie, and this is what 2006. No, this is like 2004. It was Tony Thompson, Tony the Tiger Thompson. You know what
Oh.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
he was getting ready
Yeah.
to fight Klitschko. So they was like, we had fought 6 fights up to that point, and we got to the main fight, and I'm like, nobody believed in him. Nobody did anything for him. It was me and him grinding daily. I actually moved to DC and lived in his basement. And so we just grinded it out. Yeah, grinded it out. So when we get to the big fight, they say, you're not good enough to train him against Klitschko. So we go to Mackey. I sit the first 2 days I sit with Mackey, and he had a hospital wing. And we're talking. He was like, you know what? You are good enough. He said, there's a couple things that I can help you with. You know what I'm saying? He said, but
But the
other
rest you
than
know.
that,
The rest you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, he said you brought him to the dance. Why not? Why you don't get to dance with the girl that you brought to the dance? And that was one of the
I
things
totally
that he
agree.
said. Yeah. So he backed out of it, and I went on ahead and did it. But they had oh man, it was just a nightmare. So he ended up fighting Klitschko on one leg because they actually was like, we're gonna bring somebody else in. So me and Mackie got along really well. We actually continued a relationship about 3 or 4 years after that. You know what I'm saying? But he was one of the mentors that actually helped me understand like movement, like real movement, understanding training. So I train movement more than I train muscle because
Yes,
every sport moves differently. So he was one of the
totally.
guys, man. So when you ask me how long I'm gonna do it, I'll do this forever, man, because I love to do it for the kids. And like I say, most of it I do for free. And if I could do it all for free, I would, because it's just being able to train and mentor and give and put back into these kids and watch them blossom. It's like having a flower, a plant. You know what I'm saying? You plant a bean or a seed
Yeah, and
and you
watch it
watch it
grow.
grow and you nurture it and you nurture it. So that's where I come from. Um, that school that keeps me going and just like I said, continue just to bless these kids, man, and watch them be a blessing because you never know what their lives is going to do for another person's life. And so it's just like a beautiful tree that just continues to grow and grow.
That's fantastic. Jelena, Jelena, what can you say? Because we got to wrap it up, man. We got to do part two one of these
Now
days.
let's do this. No, I've been blessed in my life to have BB be a part of later on in my career. I was struggling for a bit, trying to find my way after Milan passed, and I had two different trainers, and um, I was training with Sugar, and we were okay, and then I was missing this part of my life, BB, and the strength and conditioning specialist, and a friend of mine, and became a friend of mine. And when BB came in, like, I felt like my team was whole again. I felt like I was always missing stuff. I was missing the mentorship that I always had from Milan. And that, like, I would always look to Milan for guidance, reassurance, the hard work, the one to yell at me, the one to, you know, uh, provide me with success and words of kindness and all of those things. And for me, it was a big struggle. I think when I lost him, I lost a big part of that. And when BB came into my camps and started being that person, and not out of force, not out of anything, just because he's genuinely an amazing trainer, but also an amazing person and an amazing friend. So I can never speak highly enough of BB's. Honestly, I've been very blessed to have some of the best trainers in my life, in Canada and everywhere I go. And I have to say, BB is probably the best trainer I've ever had, but more importantly, friend, counselor, all of the things all in one, that Milan, like, he helped fill a portion of his shoes that I missed out on. So the words always are, I lose them, because it was such a big hole in my life that has slowly been able to meld and grow. So I thank you, BB, for coming on and being part of our
Uh,
podcast. I know you were a little upset you weren't asked sooner, but I was just waiting for the right time. And
yeah.
I appreciate you and everything you do for all of the athletes you touch, but more importantly, me. So thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. That's my sister, man.
And
Yeah.
well, BB, can you leave us now, because we always leave our guests with the final word, and we want to know, like, what you could tell out the people in the world, something that you've learned along the way that you can share with our audience.
You know what, man? For real, and it's kind of cliche, but the the destination is the journey. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, when you pick up people along the way, you know what I'm saying? Always just try to be kind, be understanding, and loving. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, when it's all done, everybody has an expiration date. But can you have those friendships? Do you keep those people that you spent all that time with close to you, and then continue to bond when it's outside of, what I'm saying, the sports you've done? So, and that's one of the big things, like I said, from yesterday. A lot of those ex players called me and just thanked me for being that father figure, that mentor. And that's mainly the
Very cool.
reason why I do what I do. So, you know what I'm saying, man, I always be able to share some kind words. You know, everything is not going to go your way, you know what I'm saying, but be able to get up the next morning and strap your boots on, man, and go at it again.
Awesome. Well, BB Hudson, thank you for so much for being on the podcast today. We can't thank you enough, and
Yeah.
I hope your Dodgers, do well, and your Lakers come back soon enough, and and you keep doing what you're doing for the world.
Hey, I appreciate you guys for this, this opportunity. This is actually my first podcast ever. So to be able to be on your
Oh,
platform,
wow,
man, I appreciate it.
fantastic!
You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, it's been great. It's been great.
You killed BB. What are you talking about? You look like you've done
Hey,
100 of them.
nobody wants to talk to me, man.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We do.
I do.
Okay. Well, thank you
Yeah.
so
Thank you
much.
so much, BB. Thank
All
you.
right.
We'll see you.
See you
this
later.
week.
All right. All right. Peace.
So then all you need to do is click the leave button and then leave it on for a sec, B, okay?
Yeah, there he
he's
is.
gone.
BB Hudson, everybody. BB Hudson figures it out very easily on the Busted Lip podcast today. And Jay, really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So now you get to see one side of my training life. BB's awesome. Like I can't stress how much like he's helped me after Milan passed, right? Like it's like, just also like I've never felt stronger, I'm not gonna lie, even
Yeah,
at
for
the
sure.
age that I'm at, like with him, and he is just so phenomenal. He's such a good guy, and he's touched so many different kids like for training, and so yeah, he's just a great dude. And if you are in the LA area and you need a phenomenal trainer, BB Hudson's your guy.
BB
But
Hudson's them. Listen, for sure. Jay, you know what too? Now that I look at you and your birthday's coming up this Wednesday, and we want to wish you a humongous happy birthday, and you're going to be 44 years old, which is one of my favorite numbers of all time. And literally, I've always wondered what you're going to do. This is my question to you. What are you going to do when you're done boxing and you have such a competitive edge to you? Like it's insane. And it's so attractive to see someone that has this competitiveness of you. What the heck are you going to do what are you going to do after boxing? Like cause you got to feed that.
to fill the competitiveness?
Yeah. Cause you're super competitive in a good way. You don't know yet? I just don't know.
For competitive, I don't know,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think to keep me involved in boxing, I'd love to get into some commentary, and
Yes,
and I
definitely.
love advising younger fighters and being around.
Fantastic.
So that to keep me in boxing, but I actually haven't thought about anything to help me with my
Well, I'm just
competitiveness.
because you are super. Like you might have to take up
I
pickleball or something. You know what I mean? Like because you're like super
No, because
competitive.
the hand racket ball, like that part, I'm
Oh,
not.
that's not you.
I mean, I can learn. I mean,
Oh,
I
I'm
enjoy
sure you
golf.
could. Oh yeah,
I enjoy golfing, but
good.
I'm definitely not good enough to go on any kind of, because you know me, I don't like to do things halfway.
Correct.
So I don't know, Mark. I haven't really thought about
I
it
don't
yet.
know.
I
I'd
don't
sing happy
to
birthday.
fulfill the competitiveness. I don't
Yeah.
know. So I guess
Okay.
to fulfill that, we'd have to make this like maybe I get competitive like with this pod. I'm already obsessed. You already know this.
Yes.
I check our numbers every single day.
Yeah, we're over
because-
14,000 subscribers. Everybody,
Well,
we're
it's
close.
because- and
We're getting closer to 15,000 now. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah,
So we
like
set little goals and then little like success, like
Yeah.
we still gotta pop a bottle of champagne and
yes,
all of
yes.
those things. So maybe like that'll be my competitive. I don't know. Mark.
Good.
That
Yes,
is such a
I
tough
would like that.
question.
That would be perfert.
So
Well, listen, everybody, we
I'll
want to
find some
thank our.
other obsession.
Yes, you will. It's mandatory. We want to thank our guest today, everybody. BB Hudson from Los Angeles. We want to thank him for being on today. We want to wish the lovely Jelena Mrdjenovich a humongous happy birthday from all the Busted Lip podcast fans. Listen,
Just another day, Mark.
it's not
just
another day. It's the great Jelena Mrdjenovich's birthday this Wednesday. I'm letting you know. Tune in. every Tuesday on the Buslit podcast with the lovely Jelena Mrdjenovich, getting older by the second, and myself, Mark, and myself, Mark Pavelich. And everybody, we'll see you next week. Take care.
We'll see you guys.